Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me for 10 Minute Tuesday. I got my friend Allison Wright. Allison, what is going on?
Hey, Seku. Great to be here. Life is good. How are
Glad to have.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for hopping on the podcast and getting you on, man. I couldn't wait to get you on here. I'm glad to have you tell your story, how you got into data. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Allison, what compelled you to get into data to begin with?
Um, I would say what got me compelled to get into data was my previous job before I had pivoted. I was working as an admin where one of my job roles was to review resumes, and I would see, the buzzwords of uh, business analytics, business intelligence, etc. And that kind of prompted me to think like, I think I need to make a change. And when I ended up getting a message on LinkedIn for an opportunity to become a business analyst, I took it and ran.
That's awesome. Awesome. So, everybody's like one of the most fun things about doing this podcast is that I hear everybody's start journey and then kind of where they're at. And they're also fascinating, right? So just hearing you like look at resumes and it's like, maybe I should get into this field is so awesome.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I know like a lot of people will focus on the education portion, but for me, it's like I technically didn't study, you know, business analysis or data analytics or anything like that. So I just kind of fell into it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then now you're a Tableau ambassador, right?
Yes, I am a Tableau social ambassador as of this year.
Hey,
Never thought
fantastic.
I'd get here.
Well, congrats to that. But understanding the journey, right? You got into data, you looked at different titles and everything, but you had jobs that you didn't like before. So, what would you say has been your least favorite job to date?
So funny enough, we're gonna go back to that job that I pivoted into. Uh, the reason why it's my least favorite job is because in some ways I kind of feel like I was gaslit. In a way, it was like that meme expectations versus reality. Uh, what I needed to be successful really wasn't what I was being offered because most of the people that were my colleagues were recent graduates. So they were just starting out, and it felt more like a glorified internship, if I could be honest.
Got it. Yeah. So, just hearing the glorified internship and just like you were promised one thing, he's like, whoa, wait, this isn't what I like. That's crazy.
But to be fair, the one good thing that came out of that is that I was able to find out about millennials and data.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's where you got the homie Chantilly. That's
Yep,
her thing. So
exactly.
that's great to hear that, and then jumpstart to where you're at now. So that's fantastic. So, what would you consider uh, your biggest failure with quotation marks around failure? Because we fell forward. So, what would you consider your biggest failure? And then, really, what did you learn from that experience?
Failure. I mean, can you really be human without experiencing failure? So for me, it's not necessarily work related, but I feel like it could be applied to anything. And I would say my biggest failure would be putting my life on the back burner to appease someone else for so long that they expected their needs to always come first. So it just took me a long time to fully understand that that's okay sometimes, but I need to be able to take care of myself too.
Yeah, I think we definitely sacrifice in those different areas for people, and I think there's definitely a point where you're like, you know what, this doesn't feel good, and let me make sure I focus a little bit more on me and the things that I want to do.
Yeah, other problem is too is like you can't pour from an empty cup. I want to be
Yeah,
able to help as many people as possible, and the only way I could do that is if I don't burn out.
yeah, for sure, definitely for sure. You have to be poured into and make sure you are refilled. So that's definitely a
Yep.
great point. All right, so what is one lesson your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Empathy. And I think that everyone should work at least one service job in their life to really fully understand empathy. And I mean, I know that majority of us within this community, we work with data, but that data is impacting someone. So you really need to be able to meet people where they are in order to build trust, and therefore you're going to be able to do your job better.
Yeah, that's so true. And like before we hit record, right, we just catching up and everything and talking about like current events and stuff. And I brought up my dad passing away in December and stuff, but I know that has changed the empathy, even in my job, of when I'm looking at data or if I'm working with a healthcare client or what have you. Like I have a different viewpoint on the human being who's actually inputting and entering the information and the processes behind the scenes, and realizing some of the day in and out of, I won't say difficulties, but just like the number of things that people as a human being just deal with on a daily basis that doesn't necessarily reflect in the data itself. So that's definitely been a thing that way more empathetic in regards to how data is generated and how it's being input into the system, and the barriers, or the barrier might be a bad word, but some of the, just the restraints that people have to like make input in some of this stuff an afterthought.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Definitely.
and then even with the service industry, right? I think I have a different viewpoint on service industry. Like people work really hard, like in the service industry, they work really, really hard and really have to be on and focused. So I think that empathy piece is a really good call out.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants to talk about that, I've worked nearly every service job, so trust me, I've learned.
So there's actually this documentary on Netflix that former President Obama did, where he looked at different roles and how they impact society. And he was started with like the service industry, and then he moved to like managerial, and then all the way to like the C-suite. And it was like a 4-part episode, but it was like really cool because he got to like really engage people in different points of it, and then really like how each like impacts the world and what they're doing. So I thought that was really fascinating.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, you should. It's a really good one. Me and my wife just watched it like a couple weeks ago. All right. So, what is one piece of advice you give someone starting out in their career?
So this one's really going to go out to my arts and humanities degrees people because I actually majored in Russian language and literature. So I would say to not discount your liberal arts degree, because I know there's a lot of organizations where they might give preference to somebody who has a STEM degree or like business administration, but having that different viewpoint and ability to imbue that into your analysis, I think is very important and helps to build diversity, in addition to just showing how welcoming this field is.
That's awesome. And I think that's a really good call out on the diversity. Like, there's multiple ways to highlight data, show data, input data, what have you. But the way we're, we think about different things can help with that storytelling component of it. So I think that's really awesome.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. So tell me about the most influential people in your life and how they made an impact on you.
How much time we got?
Hey, go for it. You got time.
I'm gonna do a top five.
Okay.
So the first person's gonna be my mother. So anybody who has grown up with immigrant parents will know where I'm coming from. She taught me a lot of resilience and just having grit in no matter what um, challenges come my way. Second person definitely has to be Chantilly for sure, because without millennials and data, I don't think I would have gotten to this point with my portfolio or my network. Adam Miko, he was one of the first people that I met when I was welcomed into the data fam community. And I mean, we still talk. He's an awesome person. Another person is Nicole Mark, who is the founder of Women in DataViz. I also help her co-mod the Slack channel slash community. She's very inspiring and always pushes me to want to do more. And last but not least would be Nicole Klassen. She's very supportive and understanding. And I don't think I would have applied to be a Tableau ambassador if she hadn't encouraged me to do so.
That's awesome. All five great people. Haven't met your mom, but I'm sure she's amazing. Chantilly, we all know what it is, right? That's sister. You know,
Yeah.
that's family right there. Adam's my guy. And I think I met the other two as well, but all great people that you discussed. So that's really awesome. All right, Allie Wright, where can listeners find you at online?
You can find me on, for the most part, Twitter at Sustainably Alley. In addition, you can also find me on LinkedIn under my full name, Allison Wright, and also on the Women in Data Viz Slack channel. If you are interested in joining, please reach out.
Hey, y'all heard her. Hit her up. Get on the Slacks. Hit her on the socials. Yeah, this is great, Allison. Thank you so much for taking time out today to hop on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. It was really good catching up with you.
Hey, likewise, likewise. And people, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will talk to y'all next week on 10 Minute Tuesday. Y'all have a great day.